ability through the natural language of typing in questions and getting results. And then the week after that, we're going to look at our new packing solution, where you go around and get your items and deliver them to the shipping department. And the packing solution will tell you the best way to pack up your load. And rounding out the end of the series, we'll take a look at the new Agility AI Fusion scheduler, production scheduler. Works with POP and shop floor, or even if you're not working with POP and shop floor, you can pull in a spreadsheet file and schedule. Little thing to keep track of here is what version and build you're on with Macola and Wisys. This is a picture of our product release page. So to use the products you're going to see today, you'll need to be on the current build of Wisys. So whether you have a production system that you've updated, or a separate sandbox system, or maybe you have a separate laptop computer that has Macola and your database on there, you can update that to 571.1 and you can do some testing. I just mentioned that everybody has this application on their contract currently. So if you update, you're going to automatically get it through the period of testing. Nice thing about this product is we've documented it as we've built the product. We have pre-release documentation on how to set it up and then how to use each of the applications. So taking a look at the Agility AI interpreter, we're going to look at it quickly here and then take a quick screenshot of the other ones, and then we'll come down and actually do some demoing of the product. The AI interpreter is a drag and drop order entry or PO builder for creating POs from text files or spreadsheets, Word documents, or graphic images. However you get your documents, they'll come in, you save them to a directory, and then you can drag and drop them right onto the form, and it will figure out what goes in what bucket. Sometimes there's problems, and you would apply a template on a per customer basis to map out the fields and the words that they might consistently use to build an order. Next week, we're going to look at the agent. The agent is an English language query. In this little box right here, you can type words just like ChatGPT, and it will look at the data that's in the grid, and you can continue to refine your questions to get the answers that you want, and even have the results displayed as a graphic image. The box packing application basically takes a look at all the items that are on the order based on the dimensions and the weights that are set up in Macola. And then inside the Agility application, we have cartons, and those cartons have dimensions. And so it will take a look at the items on your order and dimensionally figure out which boxes, which items go in to get the best fit. And fourthly, we're going to take a look at the end of the group. We're going to take a look at the Fusion Scheduler. And the Fusion Scheduler is a whiteboard system. It is basically a drag and drop. You can open up Macola, pull in your POP orders, pull in your shop orders, or manually enter stuff or bring them in through a spreadsheet. And then you can organize them on a graphical interface like this and build a schedule and then print off the schedule for your shop. It's pretty easy to use. It does use AI, or you can just actually fit it in yourself based on your own understanding of constraints. Okay, so where is the Agility interpreter? So the first thing you're going to want to do is when you update, you'll update and you'll still be looking at your normal Agility Explorer. And you'll notice that down here is a new section called Agility Intelligence, conveniently AI for Agility Intelligence. We'll give you a few more options up here as a group that you can work on. And then at the top of the screen on the toolbar, you'll click on the orders option. And once you have this displayed, you can then click this for enter a new sales order. And you click here and drag and drop. And that's about it. So let's give it a try and see how it's going to work. Okay, you're now looking at my Agility desktop, and I'm going to open the Agility application. And mine opens up, it displays a graphic image just because I think it's cool. These are all my sales orders for today. This is part of Agility as the dashboard. I'm just going to get rid of that for now. And you'll see here are a couple options. This is AI OE desktop console. I'm going to put the English language thing to sleep over here. So pretty much this is just like normal Agility that you might use on a day-to-day basis. And then up at the top, as I mentioned, you click on orders. And here in the order section is a new option for new sales orders from document. So it opens this up. And then all you do is click here. And you go find the document that you want to work on. I'm going to try this one. You'll notice the different types of documents that I have. I'm not going to do them all today, but I've got text documents, I've got images, and things like that. So here's a PDF. And one thing I've noticed is if you have orders that are received in email, Microsoft 365 has made it difficult to drag and drop right out of email. I haven't figured out how to do that yet. So I just save my document out of email. I suppose that's safe anymore with viruses. Let your virus checker go after it to make sure it looks good. Okay, so the document that I have here has been imported. And you can see here are the different fields. See if I can make this a little bigger. And it gives you a visual display of the fields. So for instance, here's customer order number. Here's the names and things like that. Here's terms, shipping, stuff like that. So what it's gone ahead and done is it has applied that over here. And you'll notice down here, it found these two items in inventory, and it's filled out the location and the quantities, etc., and you're good to go. And all you have to do is push the Create button. It came back. And so here on the screen, it just created a new sales order right here. So I can look at 1042. Go over to Macola and look at orders. 1042. So there's the order. It's pulled in, and you can see that it's a booked order, brand new order. So that was easy. Let's try another one. I do the same thing and drag and drop. And this time I'll try from a raw text file. Anytime you see the little spinner up at the top, it's taking the data on the form and it's uploading it into our cloud server for AI, OpenAI. And you can see here it's parsed the information again correctly. And I can just create order. And sometimes you're going to get a message failed to create order header. Had some kind of a problem here. So I'll have to figure out what's gone on with that. If I close it, reopen it, sometimes it does a better job. AI is not perfect yet. Sometimes you'll get different results. Just like if you ask it, what's the best way to get to Denver? It may or may not give you the same path every time. So here's something to pay attention to. Notice over here, the ship to address. It didn't like that, and it gave me a confidence score here. So I can edit that, and I could just leave it blank. And then I'm going to push down here for the salesperson. I'll get rid of that and put in 10, 2. I think that's a salesperson's number. And let's give it another try. And it failed on that one. Terms code. Okay. So as I recall, the terms code in Macola for net 30 is just 30. And so you can keep doing iterations on here until you can get it to import, and then you'll be good. So it's now built that, and it didn't have a sales rep number on there. So here's the next order number, and I can see those items have been entered. Let's try a hard one. Let's go after something that I know doesn't work very well, and I'll show you what I've done. So I have a document here. And it's loading more data into the cloud. And it'll come back with the best results it can. But in this case, there's a lot of problems. And you'll notice the mapping is terrible. So notice for the item number, I put number 1, 2, 3, 12. I've created a template. And I'm going to select the template for that particular customer. And this has a lot of hard codes in there. I want to hard code the customer number. Because when you think about it, the purchase order that's coming from your customer to buy something may not have all the right information on there. It may not know who your salesperson number is. It may not know your warehouse. It may not know a lot of things. But you can hard code those values, and then you can save them with an import for that particular customer. So I'm just going to use that template, apply the template right here, and I'm going to reapply this document. And I'm still fine-tuning my results that I've been getting on this to try and get it to do a really good job. But I'll show you some of the problems and what you have to help it learn what to do. I should mention that in this environment, this Wisys application is in a secure thread with our AI server, and everything is encrypted. Everything that you upload in your thread is set not to save and not to remember and not to learn. So everything is private. Well, notice what happened here with this import. Notice that the vendor item number, which is my Macola item number, is here. Vendor item, I tried to map that, and in my example here, it didn't get that. It went after the word item number over here and put the customer's item number in. So that's frustrating. So I'm working on this template to try and help it do a better job. And you notice down here, I said, in the document that I'm working on, map the vendor item to the Macola item number field. So I save that. I'm going to try it one more time, just because I don't like to give up. And we'll see if we get a better result. Notice on here, it doesn't have like the Macola location. It has the vendor item number, vendor number here. I mapped 972 over here. So This time it got the location correct, and it's still struggling on a few things here. So I have to help it learn to do that, and I'm working with our dev team to make it better. Let's go ahead and close this one, and I'll import a purchase order. We'll do PO. Same kind of format here. I go to the PO system, and I do this, and I say, grab a PO out of my directory, wherever that is. And I have a purchase order right here. So what's happening behind the scenes, those of you that are current customers, you know that Wisys has something called our business objects. So when the form with AI figures out what it wants to put on the form to become a purchase order, when we push this button down here, it actually transforms this information into a live purchase order inside the Macola system. So now over here, I've got a new unreleased purchase order for these items. The purchase order is 8108. So if we go over to purchasing, look at orders, 8108. And here's our purchase order that we imported. So this application is available to you right now. It is part of the bundle, and we're going to cover some of the other items on the bundle next week. I'm going to drop back over here to the presentation, and we can have some Q&A if there are some questions. Aaron, are you out there?
I'm here, Bob.
Hi, thanks.
Great demonstration.
Are there have any questions out here for me?
Yeah, so are there any additional things that they need besides being on current code to utilize the AI solution? Was one question that we had received.
You would need, let's see. Well, obviously, I had somebody the other day ask me, I'm using progression and I don't own the PO module. Can I create POs with the system? and I said, nope, not unless you've got the PO module. So that was one.
Well, I believe one of the things that we could talk about is the AI key that you'd have to acquire from Wisys. So that's another step that you need. Yeah. So there is a key. Go ahead. I'll let you your webinar.
Go ahead.
No, there is an AI key that needs to be generated. Once we have communicated that you're on current code, the 571.1, we can generate an AI key for the bundle. This AI key will need to be installed into your system to utilize the AI product. So that's one other step that you need besides being on current code. Mm-hmm. There's another question for you, Bob. Is there additional charge for this tool?
Well, not at this time, but yes, there will be a module that you'll add to your system, and it's going to be a software as a service. So it's not going to be very expensive on a per month basis to use it, and you'll get more information about that shortly. Depending on your relationship with Wisys, what kind of products you have, there is pricing that will be available. I'll have that soon that I can send out. I see, Stan, you've got a question about how does it determine the customer number? And you could see in that one example that I showed you, it didn't know the customer number, so I forced it based on the template. And what about the PO price? If you leave the field blank, I believe, just like a lot of other Wisys applications, it may use the default price in Macola to pull that in. That would be something I need to test. But if a field is blank, you could have a default that way.
Here's another good question for you, Bob.
Okay.
On the design side of Wisys, so the design tools, Are they able to attach AI to any existing grid or tailored grid that they've created? So utilizing the AI agent possibly in that tailored application? I think that's a good one.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. You can, it's really just a button click. It's probably a DLL, so it's a programmatic solution that is embedded inside Wisys. But if you wanted that button to be maybe on a shop order screen or something like that, one of our shop order or pop screens where you want to create a PO for an outside process or something, I suppose you could do that.
That's great. Yeah, and one of the things that I've noticed too is that really can control who can use this based on the user and the role. So if you're creating tailored grids for a specific user role, they'd have access to AI, and those that won't have access to it. So being able to limit that, yeah.
There's another question from another Aaron out there about.
That was that question.
Okay.
Yep.
One thing, this is highly integrated with OpenAI. Another customer asked me the other day about using other cloud-based systems, and this is highly embedded with OpenAI. So if your company is using something else, you could use whatever you're using, but this solution, if you find it attractive, is highly integrated with that. I see Brendan is asking about security. I mentioned earlier that this is our account with OpenAI. It's private. When you upload data from a grid, and maybe that's a good point. Let me just hop back over here to my screen.
Let me answer Arthur's question as well while you're doing that, Bob. So you need to create a sales order from Outlook.
Yeah.
It will not take an Outlook email message. So Office 365 has created on the newest version encryption into their email. So not only would you have a problem with Wisys, but most other integrated solutions, you cannot drag an email into the solution. So you would need to take the attachment or the body of that message into another document and or export that PDF. So you cannot use the email structure of Office 365.
Yeah,
that's not saying if you don't use Google or if you use another solution, a web-based, that's not possible. But with Outlook, it is not possible with any solution based on their current encryption.
And maybe that's a good thing when you think about security and viruses.
Yeah, you know how many times you get an order in, right? You get an email from somebody with a fake order. So we want to make sure that's monitored. I'm sure Microsoft does everything they can to prohibit that.
Brendan's question was regarding security, and when you actually are interfacing with OpenAI through Wisys, the agility application, it's only relevant to this data that's in the grid that you're working on at that present time. So you may have 5 different grids open, and when you interface with OpenAI through Wisys, it's only going to be this relevant data that is going to be part of the query that you're discussing. And then when you close out of that session is deleted, and that secure thread is gone. So there's no ability for cross-pollination. There's nothing. Our system is set up not to learn and not to remember.
I'd like to say add to it is a Wisys server, right? We're not going out to public OpenAI. So we are utilizing OpenAI's tools, but this is a Wisys server.
Correct. Okay. Any other questions out there, Aaron?
I think you're good. You had some great questions. Brendan also talked about compliance. So I think he just came up with another one. Brendan asked about compliance with ITAR. So I think you might have some questions there.
So I don't, is that an international standard for something?
Yeah, I believe it's a compliance standard, but we'll have to get back to you offline on that, Brendan. We'll talk to our team and see what the compliance regulations are and what we follow. So we'll have to get that information for you. I don't think we know that offhand from the sales department, but it's a good question that we can ask for you.
Yeah, maybe another question was asked related to the design tool. You wouldn't be able to change this form with a design tool because it's programmatic. So if you're looking for something that doesn't exist, maybe a user-defined field or something, that would be great feedback to know what you're doing. I would mention that, yes, this product is available to you. It is in an early release mode. And so we're looking for people to play with it, mess around, tell us what they like, tell us what you don't like, tell us what you need. We're trying to find the Go Faster button. I've been looking for that one for about a week or two now. But OpenAI comes with different tiers of relationship. And so the more we use it, the faster it should get for us.
I'd like to add, Bob, too, that our customers are the ones driving the feedback here. So things that you might want, some of these requests and your questions, you know, those are made possible by your feedback. And we can make the product better as it goes through different versions of it. And each one of the versions, each one of the products that you'll see in Bob's webinar series is going to show you some different items that you could do. So your feedback is important to us because that helps us create a better product.
Yeah, Stan's asking a question here. So could I add a code in the EDI for like an A or something? That's good feedback, Stan. I don't know the answer to that yet. And that would be good for you to try and see how it's going to work.
And Arthur has one more question here.
Do
Do you expect issues with the current version if we update to 5.7.1? Well, that's obviously always why you'd want to consult your Wisys consultant, as well as having your test environment to work in, right? You want to make sure that, you know, depending on when the last time you've updated, how old your current code is, that's also important. So, you know, communicating with Bob and the Wisys team is probably your first best step for that. And then, you know, obviously using a test environment to install 571.1 and the AI solution would be the next step.
Yeah, you know, there are customers out there that haven't updated in 6 years, and that's always a problem. And then, you know, if you have a lot of tailored apps on your solution, then you probably want to do some testing before you just put it out there on your production system. It's always better safe than sorry. Well, we're coming up on the top of the hour. I think we've run most of the questions out. If you'd like to email me, I'm sure I'm in your email somewhere, bhawk@wisys.com if you have more ideas. But feel free to get out there and do an update on a test environment and go for it. Let's get some feedback. So thank you very much for attending, and those of you that would like to see the agent next week, we'll be doing that. And that's another easy one to use. So look forward to seeing you then. Aaron, thank you, and we'll talk to everyone later. Bye now.